Hey guys, welcome back to Guys Night Laboratory. It is Jesus Velasquez, and it is March 25th. It is crazy. We are in lockdown, coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever you want to say. Last time we were here, we were talking about the Super Bowl and some movies that we're going to review. But I figured, why not a great time to come up and talk to you guys in a more professional manner. So if those of you who do not know, my name is Jesus Velasquez, and this is my podcast for movies and reviews and stuff like that. And we do a lot of entertainment stuff, but some things that people don't know is that I'm actually a licensed professional clinical counselor, so I'm a therapist. I'm actually a professor at a college, and one of my classes that I teach is a stress and anxiety class, which has been pretty rampant as of late because everyone is stressing out and going crazy and being nervous about this whole coronavirus, flu thing, whatever. One of the things, if you know me, is that I don't really stress too much. I kind of just go with the flow. Doesn't mean I don't have any days where I get annoyed or frustrated or impatient or stressed out, but I try not to have too much stress in my life. Maybe a little background on that is that if you have any idea of the Enneagrams, I'm a 7, so I'm really kind of like the life of the party and like to have fun, which is you either go two ways of things. So either this whole panicking thing is going to overwhelm you because you're 7 and you got to go lean on one side and you panic, or you lean on the side of not panicking. So that's part of it. One of the things is that I grew up in a church that was really crazy and cultish, and so every single week was kind of like the end of the world. Like they preached like the world was going to come to the end, or going to come to an end, and that was kind of something that happened like every single day. So it was one of those things where it was like, oh, okay, so I guess the world's ending. Ooh. Like seriously, one time it was one of those things like, why even do my homework since the world's gonna end? So I think this whole kind of like pandemic kind of thing, yeah, it's scary, it's a little weird, it's a little freaky, but I don't know, it just doesn't really freak me out because I've been there. I've been in the that situation where they said, "Oh my gosh, panic! Everyone panic!" and it's just no. But not to say that this isn't serious or something that we shouldn't take serious. Obviously, we should follow the rules. We should um, go on lockdown. We should have social distance. Doesn't mean social isolation. One of the things that's hard for me is that I love people. I love hanging out with people. I love having parties, barbecues, interacting with people, calling. If you know something about me and you're like one of my good friends or just a friend, you know that I always call. I always give people phone calls. I always give people text messages. I check up on them. I like to just interact with people. So it's hard for me right now, like people not hanging out, not having people over, not taking a kid somewhere. It's hard, but one of the things I can do is just tell you guys that it's okay to stress. Like I will validate that, even though I don't stress, even though I don't worry. But it's okay. It's okay to stress. It's okay to worry. It's okay to go out there and be you. If that's you, if you lean to the side of worrying and stressing out and freaking out, that's great. I mean, I see a lot of posts on Facebook, and that's the thing. Like everyone's on social media, so everyone's like the social influencer, social expert, and stuff like that. But as a therapist, as a professor that's teaches stress and anxiety, I mean, one of the things I could say is that you if you're gonna stress, you're gonna stress. Like, there's nothing I can say or anyone can say that is gonna change your mind. But one of the things that I always tell my students and I tell my clients is, you could stress only on what you can control. You can't you cannot stress out on what you cannot control, because then that's excess stress. That's bonus stress. That's stress that is one of those things that you can't. It's just extra stress that you're adding. So it's the filler stress. Like if you were to eat bad food, it's the bad calories. You're taking in the bad calories. We need the good fat, and then you keep the bad fat. So that's the stress. It's like we need stress in our lives. Like stress is something that's good. I teach my students this, that stress is a good thing because back in the day we needed it to be aware of fears, be aware of dangers. We need to, so like when we were hunters and gatherers, we needed that stress to know, oh, that's a predator, that's something dangerous. So we have to be aware of that, because if we weren't stressed out about that, we wouldn't know the dangers. So kind of like kids don't really stress out too much. That's why we have to watch over them, because they could run in the streets, they could do this, they could do that. As we get older, we start to think of like, oh, that stresses me out. I might get hit by a car, or I might do this. That's why we get fearful of things. We get scared of things. That's where stress leads. Um, but what happens is we start to overstress, and then when we're isolated, we got idle hands, we got cabin fever, we have all this stuff. That's what happens when that excess stress, that bad stress. So stress in a sense is not bad. It's good to stress, especially you look at everything kind of like worldwide, nationwide. It's a pandemic. It's like, oh my gosh, Then everyone starts researching because we have time on our hands, or those of us who have kids don't have times on our hands, and you just think like, oh gosh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? So it's just that stress. It's eating you alive. You might not have people there to calm you down or talk you off the ledge. So that stress overwhelms or overtakes you. So, like I said, stress isn't a bad thing. It's okay. It's okay to be aware. The stress is it's good to stress out in a time like this because it tells us, okay, like this thing is something we should be aware of it. It's serious, but it's not serious, but it is serious, whatever. The stress is what's being us aware to be social distance, keep our, 6 feet apart and all that stuff. That's where the stress should go. Where it shouldn't go is panic buying. We don't need 75 rolls of toilet paper. We don't need to go clean out the pasta shelves and the canned foods and stuff like that. We get nervous with these lockdowns. We get nervous about, one of the things is I get allergies and it's springtime. And so I sneeze all the time or I cough. I do my little, if you know me, like if you really know me, like one of my best friends, you know that I do that thing again, what I just did, which is probably gross to people. But I do it and people just look at me like, oh my gosh, she's got the plague. No, it's just allergies. Like, just be aware, wash your hands, I'll do all the stuff that you normal, like most people with good hygiene already do. Um, but like I said, it's one of those things. It's like we're gonna stress. We got time on our hands, and so when we have time, we have. Or when I say time, I mean like we're kind of locked down. Not to say we're locked like everyone's just in their house. People are walking and riding bikes and doing whatever. But we're not going out. We're not interacting with a lot of people to say or per se. So it's easy to just kind of get our minds going, get our minds rolling, and start thinking of the worst case scenario. It's okay to be prepared. It's okay to be stressed. But just use that stress and think of what am I doing, or where is this stress coming from? Is this something from back in the day that I was stressing this and this? Like, did my parents panic? Did my parents teach me how to cope with stress? How to cope with I guess you could say emergencies. I remember like 9/11 happened, and like I said, I remember my sister came into the room and she's like, "Oh my gosh, New York just exploded!" And so I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "New York just exploded." So I'm thinking like someone dropped like a nuclear bomb on New York, And so like I was kind of freaking out a little bit, but then I went and watched the TV, and it was horrible what happened, But it was like, okay, like it's a terrorist attack. They bombed a building. Super tragic in itself. Like I'm not saying that as a less thing, but my sister went to the extreme where I was like, whoa, like they bombed New York, and it was like, okay, so it's we kind of like to over exaggerate things, and when I say over exaggerate things, maybe 9/11 wasn't the best example, but we want to over exaggerate or stress out on the situation of, okay, we're gonna be on this, we're gonna be on lockdown for like months or this or that or whatever, so we start stressing out. And the one thing I could say is just take it a day at a time. It's okay to relax. It's okay to have fun within the guidelines, obviously now. But it's okay to be like, you know what, this will pass. If you don't want to, if you want to feel like this is the end of the world and this is how our chapter is written and goodbye, good luck. It was nice knowing you. Go for it. You know. But that's a very scary way to live. And if that's how you're living, you know, when this thing passes and life comes back to normal for the most of us, for the rest of us, you have to think, why am I thinking like that? Is there other things in my life that are going to be over exaggerated or over stressed out about? But, anyways, like I said, my name is Jesus Velasquez, and so my podcast is Guys Not Lab. I know some of you guys don't like scary movies or who knows what. But this was just 10 minutes with Professor V, as my students call me. And I hope I was kind of an encouragement, hopefully, to you guys that, like I said, it's okay to stress, but keep the good stress. Not that excess, bad fat. No bad stress, because bad stress is what makes you stay up at night and worry and be just not happy and uncomfortable. And, it's okay to smile and be cheerful and have hope. as Red says in Shawshank Redemption, or I think it was Red, hope is a good thing. So, all right, guys, take care. Hey guys, welcome back to Guys Night Laboratory. It is Jesus Velasquez, and it is March 25th.